Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Goalside. A penalty kick is a way of restarting the football game, in which a player is allowed to take a single shot at the goal while the goal is being defended only by the goalkeeper of the opposing team. The shot is taken from the penalty mark, which is 11 metres or 12 yards from the goal line and centred between the touchlines. There are two different aspects that you will have to understand to know how the penalty works. The first one is an in-game penalty, which is awarded to a team when their player is fouled in the 18-yard box of the opposite side, the side where they have to score, and the second is the penalty shootout. Considering all the rules, some players have shown us amazing techniques to score or to save the penalty kick. Let's see the 10 craziest ones. 1. Tap penalty. A two-man penalty, or a tap penalty, results when the kicker, instead of shooting for the goal, taps the ball gently forward, so that the teammate can run on and shoot. If correctly done, this is legal during the game because all the players can enter the box after the kicker touches the ball. On the 14th of February 2016, Lionel Messi tapped a penalty for Luis Suarez as Suarez completed his hat-trick against league opponents Celta de Vigo. 2. Panenka penalty. Scoring a penalty requires a lot of composure, and scoring a Panenka, well, requires more of it. It's a penalty technique where you do not kick the ball on either side but rather straight on. The player uses his sight on goal and body movement to deceive the keeper to dive to one side of the goal. Moreover, it seems effortless as the player just chips the ball in the goal as if it was the easiest thing he had to do. It was the final of the World Cup 2006 between France and Italy. Italy gets a penalty during the game and Zidane steps up to take it. In a moment like this where the score is tied and it is the final game, the world is watching. Zidane goes calmly and scores a Panenka. 3. Stutter penalty. In this technique, a player makes the run for the penalty shot as usual, but he stops just after completing 90% of his run-up to visualise the movement of the keeper's body and then shoots the ball after a little pause. This pause allows players to get time to think about where to score after they watch the movement of the keeper. Although this was banned from football in previous years, as it seemed unfair for goalkeepers saving the penalty, later on FIFA reviewed the rules and made it legal, as only the keepers committing on the ball before the penalty is shot got deceived by it. During a World Cup game against Costa Rica, Neymar scored a stutter penalty which got disallowed as the referee considered the revised rules of that time. 4. Backheel. This technique is where the player runs up to the spot and then turns to the opposite side off the goal, just as he reaches the shooting position. The player then uses his back heel to strike the ball in the goal. UAE international Thayab scored a backheel penalty against Lebanon in a friendly game. He is known to the world ever since. 5. Bounce. In this technique, the player takes a usual run up to the spot, but just before shooting, he takes a small bounce off the ground and strikes the ball as he steps down. This was first introduced in the 1970 World Cup by Pelé, but the Chelsea player Jorginho recently scored this penalty against Ajax in the Champions League this season. 6. Long or slow run-up. The player runs up to the ball with a sluggish pace and takes a last quick step to shoot the ball into the goal. Manchester United star player Paul Pogba scored a penalty with this technique against Crystal Palace in the Premier League this season. 7. NEYMAR'S style. The player stands on the opposite side of his preferred foot. The run-up includes the player movement to the preferred side and then taking the usual run-up to the ball to score. Neymar scored a penalty against Lyon with PSG in a Ligue 1 match this season using this technique. 8. One-step technique. The player scores the penalty by standing beside the ball, and as the whistle's blown, he moves a step and strikes the ball into the goal with the goalkeeper surprised. Atletico Madrid striker Aduriz scored this penalty against Real Valladolid in a La Liga match last season. 9. Rabona. Rabona is a technique where a player puts the non-preferred foot in front and moves the preferred foot from behind to strike the ball. Jalminia scored a Rabona penalty against Fluminense goalkeeper in the penalty shootout. 10. Henry's fake shot. The player takes the usual run up to the ball and strikes the ball the moment he takes his last step. It's like the player takes the last step at the ball striking it and then swings his feet and does a fake kick.